Not all horror stories are fiction. Some are passed down through whispers. Others are buried in court documents. But this one was hidden in plain sight, behind the door of a quiet farmhouse at the edge of the woods. They lived far from town. No phones, no internet, just a vegetable garden, a few chickens, and a reputation for hospitality. The Matsons were known for inviting lost travelers into their home, mostly hitchhikers, campers, people no one would miss right away. They offered dinner, place to rest, and when guests didn't call home, it didn't raise alarms, because the Matsons had a rule: never let a guest leave before breakfast. In April 1993, 2 hikers got lost near the Appalachian Trail. When they found their way back to the main road days later, they told police about a strange smell coming from a nearby ravine. Authorities investigated. They expected to find a dead animal. Instead, they found something else. Partially buried suitcase. Inside, clothing, a faded ID card, and bones. Human bones. The trail led police to the Matson property. At first glance, the place looked innocent, rustic, but the deeper they searched, the darker it became. Behind the barn, they found multiple shallow graves. Some fresh, some decades old. Inside the house, they discovered journals, recipe books, and guest logs, all handwritten. The logs listed names, dates, descriptions like talkative, young, or alone. Next to many of them were small red XS. One log entry stood out: Tommy H. Polite, nice teeth, stayed one night. Tommy H. had been missing for 3 years. Investigators pieced together a timeline. Dozens of people had passed through the Matsons' home over 4 decades. Some were confirmed missing persons. Others were never reported at all. But what truly horrified the detectives were the notes in the kitchen, handwritten recipe cards, normal at first glance, until they read the labels. Red stew, lean, rich flavor. Back roast, good for drying. Preserve well. Freeze wrapped. The recipes didn't mention pork or beef. They didn't have to. Authorities couldn't prove every detail. There were no videos, no direct evidence of preparation. But the recovered journals suggested the Matsons had developed a system. Some entries described cleaning methods. Others mentioned sharing meals during family holidays. They called it keeping the family together. During interrogation, the youngest son, Micah, talked freely. He said he never questioned it. He'd been raised that way, and when asked why, he said, "Meat is meat. You're the ones who made it wrong." In total, the remains of at least 19 individuals were identified. But there were more names in the logs, more graves that may never be found. The Matsons were convicted on multiple counts of homicide and conspiracy. But the full truth? Buried, covered, forgotten. And that's exactly what they wanted. Some say the case was quietly closed to avoid public panic. Others believe more members of the family were never caught. Relatives, visitors, collaborators. But what no one disputes is that for over 40 years, in the heart of the American countryside, people disappeared and were never seen again. We share these stories not for shock, but for remembrance. For the victims who never got a headline. Because the scariest horror stories aren't found in books or movies. They're found in real places, in families that smile and say, "Stay for dinner," but never say goodbye.